Could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Lockdown Coverage Week number 13. National Football League. The Oakland Raiders hosting the New York Football Giants, the G-Man. And they literally were the G-Man, led by Gino. Oh, Gino. Oh, no, it's Gino. Geno Smith getting the start over Eli Manning. Eli Manning's Iron Man streak of starts, the longest start streak in the league, came to an end with his benching in favor of Geno Smith. And I must say, Geno Smith actually did not play that poorly in this game. Still the same result. Eli Manning could have done the same thing in this game, led the Giants to yet another loss. So let's put that to bed right now. Geno wasn't horrible, but Eli could have done the same thing. That being said, after you get past the whole Eli Manning angle, this wasn't a bad game by Geno Smith, but if you're looking at it from a team that actually has a chance to make the postseason perspective in the Raiders, this wasn't a great performance, just like last week wasn't a great performance. But you know what last week was? You know what this week was? A win. So you'll take it any way you can get it if you're the Raiders. And even though they got this win 24-17, I felt this game was about big plays. And so before I break this game down quickly, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. Changing the game, and I want you to help us do that by simply hitting that subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. I've got a number of social media platforms that I have that will keep you abreast of what's going on this channel. There's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Turn those notifications on. They will allow you to know when I'm going live and what I'm talking about when I go live. So much like Halloween candy, you can pick out the ones that you see fit and join the live stream and have your voice be heard. All the links to those social media platforms down in the description below this video and every single video that I do, along with how you can donate to this channel via Patreon or PayPal. Those two links that you see in front of you down in the description below as well. If you can donate, please subscribe and donate to this channel. That being said, Raiders win this game 24-17, and the big plays were the story of this game. They got to Geno Smith on a number of occasions in this game, but two in particular resulted in fumbles and turnovers yielded by this Raiders defense, and they needed both of them because this ended up being a pretty close game, and those were some big turnovers as the Giants were driving for points. So Raiders defensively came up with some huge strip sack forced fumbles of Geno Smith, both from their bookend pass rushers, one from Bruce Irvin that was recovered by Khalil Mack. The other, Khalil Mack, says, you want something done right, got to do it yourself. Goes in and snatches the football away from Geno Smith as he's in the pocket looking to make something happen. Big play by Cordero Patterson down the stretch to ice this one. And, of course, the big play that set the table for the Raiders in this game, the 51-yard Marshawn Lynch touchdown run on the initial drive of the game. So I thought this was a game of big plays for the Raiders defensively and offensively. Wasn't their sharpest performance, and they're going to have to be better if they want to win on the road next week. Even though Kansas City is struggling, they still are a dangerous team. They put up 31 this week. And again, it was in a loss because their defense is atrocious. As you found out on a Thursday night earlier in the season at home, that defense is garbage, and you can carve it up. I think, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, but Amari Cooper in that game had a career day, over 200 yards receiving. So you know that defense is garbage in Kansas City and can be lit up like a Christmas tree. And so you can do that again next week potentially, but you're going to need a better performance than what you got this week from your offense. The run game is starting to come alive. Nice little 9-yard touchdown run for Washington in this game. So nice to see the run game starting to gain a little bit of traction. You're hoping you can carry that over to next week and maybe do the same thing to the Chiefs. But the division is there for the taking. Yeah, after this performance, getting a win, getting back to 500 at 6-6. Now it's a three-way tie for the lead in the AFC West, along with the Chargers, who are 6-6, and of course the aforementioned Chiefs, who are also 6-6. So if you're the Raiders Everything you want is in front of you. A game against the Chiefs, which I think could ultimately be for the division. If you sweep them and you win the tiebreaker with them with this game, you've got a chance to beat the Chargers once more. Now, you got to go to Los Angeles to beat the Chargers. That's going to be a home game for you. So, you got Dallas, winnable game. No Zeke Elliott. You've got an opportunity to win this division. You've got an opportunity. Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken, still on the schedule for you. You've got winnable games. Now, that Eagles game is going to be a tough one to get. Excuse me. And they're going to need it because of what happened today and them losing and all these other teams that are hanging around looking for that top seed. They're going to need that game, but you're going to need that game as well. But don't want to look too far down the future. Chiefs are next on the docket. You got the win in this game. Wasn't the prettiest thing. Wasn't a work of art. Evan Ingram almost got you for 100 yards receiving at the tight end position. He scored a touchdown. Like I said, Geno Smith didn't look that bad. Your defense allowed him to look passable. So there's a lot of things to clean up in Oakland, but you'll clean them up gladly with a win. And so you get back to 500 and a much-needed win at the crib. That's 2 in a row for you now. If you can make it 3, you'll lead the division at 7-6. So we'll see what happens for this Raiders football team as they get back to 500 and have now set up a huge showdown in the AFC West next week with the Kansas City Chiefs on the road at Arrowhead. You go to the New York Giants in this game. Really not a lot to talk about. Geno Smith got the start. Like I said, he was really solid in this game. Made some good plays. And the only noticeable change with Geno Smith in the game is that he adds an element of escapability out of the pocket. There's a level of mobility obviously there that doesn't exist with Eli Manning. And so behind a Giants offensive line that can be porous at times, it's good to have a quarterback that can use his legs to escape pressure. But with that being said, Geno Smith fumbled the football twice in this game, getting hit. And Eli Manning does a really good job of getting down and avoiding sacks and turnovers with fumbles. So maybe those fumbles don't happen. Maybe they're not even in positions to score in those situations if Eli's in the game. But Geno did some good things, but it wasn't good enough. And those turnovers were backbreaking. But there's been a rumor going around that McAdoo could be fired as early as tomorrow after this loss, which is, to me, 3 weeks too late. I thought he should have been canned after they lost to the winless 49ers heading into the bye week. I thought that was a travesty and a farce, and they simply had quit on him at that point. All the issues they've had in the locker room with guys quitting on them and him having to suspend corners and things of that nature, this thing has gotten way out of hand, and now he's benching Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I mean, really, what are we saying here? I mean, he should have been canned a long time ago. He's going to get fired. It's inevitable. Why they decided to allow him to make a executive decision like benching Eli Manning is beyond me. But in any event, at this point, you got 4 games left. Unless there's a guy on your staff, okay, that you see potentially being a head coaching candidate for you, or you just want to get an early head start, which you can do behind the scenes without firing Ben McAdoo, what is really the goal here? Damage is done. He benched Eli Manning already. What is the point and the purpose with 4 games left to fire Ben McAdoo? Again, if you're looking to get a head start, knock yourself out. You can do that behind the scenes. Just keep your mouth closed and go out and put feelers out. Hey, Ben McAdoo's about to get canned. You interested in this Giants head coaching job? And I think Jerry Reese might be gone too while you bullshitting. It would not shock me in the least if Jerry Reese was shown the door. Seems like he's been living off of those 2 Super Bowl rings and hasn't really done much else since. This is not the greatest roster in the world, and you look at the talent that they've acquired via the draft, it's not that impressive. Now, I will say, they've built a hell of a defense. When healthy, that's a scary unit on that side of the football. But offensively, that offensive line has been a mess for years. And they haven't fixed it. And some of that is them. Weston Richburg, solid pick. He's okay. But you spent 2 first-round picks on tackles. Justin Pugh turned out to really be a guard. And the guy that I didn't like the most, and I told you I didn't think he was going to be a real NFL tackle, was Eric Flowers. I told you he was too stiff. He wasn't athletic enough. I saw a problem. I said, at best, you've drafted a first-round right tackle, which is fine. I don't give a damn where you get your tackles or offensive linemen from. Just get them. You just haven't gotten good enough offensive linemen. That's a problem. So, we'll see what happens with this Giants team as the season winds down. But to me, it doesn't make much sense to fire Ben McAdoo at this point. If you didn't fire him 3 weeks ago, what's the point of firing him with 4 weeks left in the season? I just don't get it. He's already done irreparable damage. Had you fired him when you were supposed to, Eli Manning would still be starting right now. Which, in the grand scheme of things, really doesn't matter, does it? But you just don't like to see guys who have earned, who have built up the equity to be able to say, hey, man, this ship is sinking. I'm going to sink with this ship. I'm the captain of the yacht. I'm the captain of the boat, so I'm going to go down with this boat. And Ben McAdoo didn't allow Eli Manning to do that. So, in any event, Raiders get to win 24-17, get to 6-6 on the season. Think they're going to have to play much better than they did in this game if they're looking to win next week at Kansas City. But a lot at stake there, and they've got a golden opportunity to take the lead in the division next week on the road and sweep the Chiefs. Be a huge feather in their cap and go a long way in potentially winning the division if you are the Oakland Raiders. Robert Contreras says, after the Norton firing, we've been aggressive and finally have been getting sacks and blitzing, causing important turnovers. That's all we got last year. We'll take any W any way we can. I don't blame you for that at all. You get them any way you can. You let people like me sort out the sloppiness or the prettiness and critique all of that nonsense. Damn all of that. Get the dub. Because like I said, and like I always say, 2-3 weeks from now, no one's going to be talking about how ugly and sloppy and wet and nasty the win against the Broncos was at home. 21-14. No one gives a damn about how Evan Ingram almost caught 400 yards and Geno Smith didn't look that bad in a 24-17 victory. Who gives a shit? Get the dubs. That's all we'll see at the end of the season is you won or you lost. You won. That's all that matters. So I agree. And as far as being more aggressive is concerned, you need to be aggressive. Your cornerback situation is horrendous. You couldn't have imagined that it would have come to what it's come to at the cornerback position with Sean Smith being back out there as a starter and no first-round pick in Conley out for the season with an injury. No David Amerson out with injury. You couldn't have imagined that T.J. Carey, Sean Smith, and Dewey McDonald would be who you were relying on at the cornerback position, E-I-E-I-O. But that's what it's come to. So, yeah, you need to blitz more. You need to be more aggressive because those boys in the back end ain't going to be able to hold up consistently. Get pressure on the quarterback any way you got to. Brandon Sullivan says, Chargers are still there, same old 500 ass, and they got a shot for the playoffs still. I want to see Rivers and Flacco showdown in January so bad. And you may get that. I doubt it, but I'll let you dream, man. I'll let you dream, Brandon. So, B. Sully, you may get your wish, but it's highly unlikely. But, yep, Chargers hanging in there, man. Hanging in after the 0-4 start. They've went 6-2, and look what they have. A 500 record that's good enough for first place in the division. Who would have thought a month ago? But stranger things have happened. We'll see what happens. 3-way tie. Sucks to be the Chiefs right now. Raiders get the win 24-17. Get back to 500 at 6-6, and now have created a 3-way tie in the AFC with this win coupled with a Chargers win and a Chiefs loss in week number 13. Going to make for some compelling football next week as the Raiders head to Kansas City to try to take and wrestle away first place from the Chiefs. And if they do that, I don't think the Chiefs will be able to recover this season. If the Chiefs can somehow find a way to snap their losing skid and win next week, it may go a long way in them righting the ship and finding a way to hold on to this division. So next week is a massive game in the AFC West division. Raiders at Chiefs. With the loss, the Giants dropped to 2-10 on the season, and they got a chance to put Dallas out of the playoffs next week at home. So there's something to play for next week. We'll see if they're able to get a win with Geno Smith at the helm, or if they fire their head coach and go in a different direction. Who knows? As the Giants' turns continues next week. I'm your man, Louie T. Thank you for joining me on Late Night Louie. I'm going to bed and get some rest. You should do the same. We'll reconvene tomorrow and break down all the rest of the action around the National Football League. Until then, I'm your man, Louie T. Signing off. See you later. Have a good one.